25 important PSM level 1 or certified Scrum Master questions. So we start right away, and these questions are good enough for the business analyst interview also. We move ahead. What are 3 pillars of empiricism in Scrum? You can read the options. Just take your time. I will share the answer with you. All the words may look familiar, but I can tell you transparency, inspection, and adaptation are the 3 pillars in Scrum. Let's check the answer. Yeah, this is the answer. The 3 pillars of empiricism or 3 tenets of Scrum are transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So team adapts to feedback. Transparency is created by transparent backlogs, demos, etc. And inspection is also done time to time by stakeholders. Who is accountable for maximizing the value of the product? So is it the Scrum Master? Is it the development team? Or is it the stakeholders? Is it the product owner? As you may guess right, product owner is responsible for the project success. He is also responsible for the product backlog, and he has to ensure that the valuable items are put in the product backlog. So product owner is accountable for product success, and he is accountable for maximizing the value of the product. Question 3. What is the maximum length of the sprint? The maximum length of the sprint is 1 calendar month. So how do I come to this number? You see, all this is covered in a document called Scrum Guide. So if you are appearing in a PSM exam, Scrum Guide is your go-to document, and also you can connect with me. Who owns the sprint backlog? You see, sprint goal and sprint backlog is decided during the sprint planning meeting. And whether it is product owner or a Scrum Master or developers or a Scrum team, you may guess right that during the sprint planning meeting, it is the development team who decides what is to be taken up in the upcoming sprint. So the correct answer is the developers. So who owns the sprint backlog? Developers. Answer C is the correct answer. Who can cancel a sprint? Scrum Master, developers, product owners, stakeholders. Before I jump to the answer, or before I take you to the answer, you know a sprint can be cancelled if the sprint goal has become irrelevant for whatsoever reason. So it is the product owner who takes the call whether the sprint is to be cancelled or not. So answer C is correct. What is the purpose of daily Scrum? Report to inspect progress towards this sprint goal, update the product backlog, assign tasks. You see, the correct answer is answer B. Inspect progress towards the sprint goal and adapt the plan. For the sprint, the team moves towards achieving the sprint goal. How long is the daily Scrum time boxed to? You see, Scrum events are time boxed events. So daily Scrum is time boxed to. Correct answer is answer B, 15 minutes. Who must attend the daily Scrum? Product owner, Scrum Master, developers, stakeholders. Daily Scrum is all about, you see, moving towards the sprint goal, reporting the progress to each other, reporting the obstacles, etc. So it is the developers who must attend the daily Scrum. So correct answer is answer C. What are the 3 Scrum artifacts? A, B, C, and D. You can read. All the words look familiar. But the 3 Scrum artifacts are answer B, product backlog, sprint backlog, and increment. What is the commitment of the product backlog? You see, all these 3 artifacts, product backlog, sprint backlog, and the increment have some commitments. For the product backlog, the commitment is the product goal. What is the commitment of a sprint backlog? Now you may guess, if for the product backlog commitment is product goal, for the sprint backlog the commitment is sprint goal. What is the commitment of increment? The commitment of increment is the definition of done. Again, at the cost of repetition, do revise the Scrum Guide time and again for a short success in PSM or CSM exam, and do not forget to share or like this video. When is an increment created? At the end of the sprint, during a sprint review, throughout the sprint, during sprint planning. So the correct answer is throughout the sprint. An increment is that version of the product which is ready to be deployed. Of course, at the end of the sprint, we can deliver something to the client which can be deployed, but even during the sprint or throughout the sprint, and as we progress towards the sprint goal, an increment is created, which if required could be delivered to the client without waiting for the sprint to get over. Who is accountable for Scrum team's effectiveness? Product owner, developer, Scrum Master, or stakeholders? The correct answer is the Scrum Master. Is the Scrum Master servant leader? Yes, Scrum Master is the servant leader of the Scrum team. Who creates the sprint goal? Product owner, developers, Scrum Master, or Scrum team? You see, the sprint backlog and the sprint goal is decided by the Scrum team. What happens during sprint review? During the sprint review, we do sprint planning or process improvement or inspection of increment with the stakeholders, task assignment. As you can guess quickly that during the sprint review, we demo the progress to the client or the stakeholders. They inspect the increment and they review the progress. So answer C is the correct answer. What is the main purpose of sprint retrospective? A, B, C, or D? So D is not correct, C is not correct, A is also not correct, B is the correct answer. Review team effectiveness. So what is the main purpose of sprint retrospective? It is to review team effectiveness. Not review, but to review, look back, and to improve upon team effectiveness. What is the maximum length of sprint planning for a 1 month sprint? You see all the Scrum events, and you know there are 5 events: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. So all these add up to 4, and the sprint in itself 4 plus 1. So the sprint is the 5th event, which is the container event, is also one of the events in Scrum. So what is and all these events are time boxed events. What is the maximum length of sprint planning for a 1 month sprint? Correct answer is answer C, that is 8 hours. So maximum length for a sprint, 1 month. Maximum length of sprint planning for a 1 month sprint, 8 hours. What is the maximum length of sprint review for a 1 month sprint? So let's see what is the answer. 4 hours. So maximum length of sprint review 4 hours. Maximum length of a sprint 1 month. And maximum length for sprint planning for a 1 month sprint 8 hours. Just remember, these are very important questions for the PSM exam. What is the maximum length of sprint retrospective for a 1 month sprint? So this is answer C, that is 3 hours. Who orders the product backlog? So product backlog is owned by the product owner. So product owner is responsible for the quality of the product backlog. He is accountable for the product backlog. Who decides how much work can be selected for the sprint? You see, development team is a self-organizing team. So is it the product owner, developers, Scrum Master, or the stakeholder? So I have already given you the hint. So it is the developers who decide how much work can be selected for the given sprint. So correct answer is answer B. When can the sprint backlog be changed? During the sprint, the team moves towards the sprint goal. A sprint backlog can be changed. When it can be changed? Only during sprint planning, only by product owner, anytime during sprint by developers, only during daily Scrum. So you see the correct answer is answer C. Anytime during the sprint by the developers. 25th question, the last question for this video. What happens if the work does not meet the definition of done? It is accepted partially, it is carried to next sprint, it is not part of the increment, it is accepted with defects. You see, anything which is part of the increment should follow the definition of the done. So what happens if the work does not meet the definition of done? It is not part of the increment. This is all for today. Please share and like this video and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.